game, and it's been an awesome game to watch. I got a lot of respect for this team, and I played against Penny's teams. I think this is, the best team that I've seen that Penny's had, from the AAC days. So, just much respect to those guys. Tyrese Hunter was awesome out there. Haggerty. I mean, they got a lot of answers there. Rogers with the shooting, a couple of really good centers. They're an underrated team, but clearly a top 20 team easily.
Any questions for Alex?
Alex, it's been a while since you guys lost a game. I mean, what's the feeling kind of in the locker room afterwards, especially a game like that where you rallied back from 12 down, sent it to overtime? I mean, what's kind of the general feel after that game in the locker room?
Everyone's disappointed, and if you're not disappointed in that locker room, you shouldn't be here. I mean, we lost, and losing anything doesn't sit well with anybody. And yeah, we showed fight at the end, but it doesn't matter because we didn't win. So I really hope everyone's disappointed. That's how the locker room felt.
Any other questions for Alex? Yeah.
Alex, what did you see on Salo's buzzer beater at the end of regulation? What was your vantage point on that when he shot her?
Yeah, he's a big-time shooter. I mean, he steps up, he makes shots when he needs to, and he did it for us to send it into overtime, and no one's really surprised when he makes a shot. So he just had a big-time shot. He's a big-time player, and we needed that.
Obviously, the overtime period, you got a little chippy there. How difficult was that to navigate? Just keep your head in the game as guys are flying all over the place, whistles nonstop.
I mean, we knew it was going to be a physical game. That was the game plans. We knew that they wanted to make it physical. It wasn't surprising to us that it was physical. We just had to match their toughness, and for most of the game we didn't, and that's just on us.
Alex, as leader, right here, Alex, as a leader of this team, how do you communicate your message coming from Dan as well about the guys that are experiencing this, and now you play your first real opponent? How much do you take on your shoulders and turn around and try and get a W, obviously, in the next 24 hours?
It's on my shoulders completely, 100% on my shoulders. How the team responds, how the team acts, how we watch film, how we do everything in general, it's all on me, and I got to do that. I got to continue to do a better job of that. It's something I'm going to adjust the team after too, as in players meeting, just to make sure that we got to wake up.
All right, thanks, Alex. Questions for Coach Hurley?
Coach, early on, Memphis was very, disruptive in terms of making it difficult for you to get in your stuff in offense. What were they doing to make it difficult to get where you wanted to go?
I mean, their style of defense is probably the toughest for us to play against. Switching and really physical. I mean, they make your catches hard. They get into the dribbler with their hands. They're just super disruptive, and I thought we disrupted our offense, but if you'd have said to me I'd play an overtime game with these guys today and have 10 turnovers for the game, I would have taken that, especially with the extra 4 minutes. Most of our problems were in just one-on-one defense, and then the amount of times we put them, or that they were put on the foul line.
Dan, right here, what did you see on the foul call against Liam? It was 92-92 all when you got the technical in the game.
Yeah, that was a joke. I mean, I just watched it. And listen, the game started for us, for me, with how physical Memphis is, and how much, so they're physical at the defensive end, and then at the offensive end, they initiate a lot of contact, and then we're getting whistles early in the game. It got off to a bad start when, my medical trainer, who must have said something under his breath in the huddle, gets teed up in the huddle in the first couple of minutes or whatever that was in the game. A trainer who's just the nicest guy, very quiet guy, might have muttered something under his breath. In a normal situation, an official comes over to you and says, "Hey coach, tell that guy to shut up." Because I know they don't want to hear it from me. But that's commonly how that should have been handled. But I had a lot of issues with what went on out there in the game. That over the back call at that point of the game, there was no attempt to block out. There was a player on Memphis that made a half-ass effort to rebound that basketball, and Liam McNeely high-pointed that rebound. For that call to be made at that point of the game was a complete joke, all right? And then for me, I don't know what happened. I might have lost my balance by the absurdity of the call, or maybe I tripped. But if I made that call at that point, I would have ignored the fact that I was on my back. If I made that call, I would have ignored that. I would have ignored that. That was a major, obviously a major. How you could call that while that game was going on, the way that game was going on, is just beyond me. But I know, I've never seen the one ref before. I didn't even know he was a college ref, and then, you know, I'm familiar with the other two, so I'm not surprised.
With Sampson's foul, this fifth foul, the technical there, was that one that just, he has to be smarter in that situation?
Yeah, I mean, he's got to be smarter. But at that point, like, we were kind of dead in the water. I mean, we were down 12 or 13, and we looked lifeless. So, you know, I started with, riling the team up and creating some energy and some intensity and some fire, and the team followed suit. And Sampson was getting shoved. I mean, his jersey was ripped. He didn't get a foul called for him the entire game. He ended the game, with his jersey ripped down the center, but they get him on every call. So, he's frustrated. That was crazy, man. Crazy.
And you guys have 2 games in the next 2 days. How do you put this past you and move forward?
Yeah, I think coming into it, I think when we realized we had such a low seed, and obviously we that's a heck of a first round opponent. I think we're gonna obviously have to bounce back and mentally regroup. We're not used to losing, but I think we are programmed with a lot of character, and we'll respond. This hurts. This sucks. We came here to win the championship. But Memphis is an excellent team, and we've got to respond the way UConn responds, and no matter what time the game is. I played at 9:30 today. I don't know what time we play tomorrow. 7. I don't know what time we're getting up. Once you go into the losers bracket, the first game.
One more question?
Just, obviously Taris and Jalen really kind of carried you guys in the first half there, and that had to be good to see. And Jalen didn't play a whole lot in the second half. Was that defense oriented, or?
Yeah, he looked, he looked a little skittish. I mean, he was great in that first half. I think his first run, he kind of looked like he was a little bit out of rhythm, a little bit on his heels. We were down. He made a couple of defensive mistakes. It was just, a couple of guys with the way they approached offensively there, just going at those matchups. Some of it was, he looked like he had lost his rhythm and skittish, and then some other guys were just playing a little better on the wing based on where we were in the game. But it was encouraging to see those 2 guys there. So thank you.
Thanks, Coach.